Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So guys, we have studied that there are two kinds of impurities. First one is the minor impurity, and that occurs from urination, etc. And second one is the major impurity, and that comes from janabah, hayd, or nifas. And we even learned to get purified from the minor impurity, we do the wudu, and to get purified from the major impurity, we do the ghusl. So guys, concentrate here, janaba. Okay, I'm going to explain you guys on all the things for which we get it. So why do we call it as janaba? Okay guys, so first thing is like anything that comes out of our body, like the seminal fluid, when it comes out of our body, this period, like from this point, we call it janaba. Okay, we are not pure, but we are in the form, or we are in the state of janaba. Okay, so this occurs when seminal fluid from our body is or has come out. Okay, so there are several reasons when it or how does the seminal fluid comes out of our body. So guys, let's discuss some of it here. So the first one is the sexual intercourse. So if anyone does the sexual intercourse, then it's obvious that the seminal fluid is going to come out. Okay, so the first reason was sexual intercourse. So if anyone does it, so he's going to be in the state of janaba. Okay, so the next one is the dreams. Okay, so there are three types of dreams. Like there are three states when you see the dream. Okay, so the first one is if you see a dream in which you might get a shahwa, and then the seminal fluid is excreted from your body, and when you wake up and you find it on your clothes or on your body, then you need to bath. Okay, then the ghusl on you is wajib. You guys understand? Then the ghusl on you is wajib. Okay, suppose you woke up in the morning, you didn't see any dream, you didn't see anything, but when you wake up in the morning, you saw seminal fluid on your body. So what do you have to do? You have to bath still. Still taking a bath is wajib on you because you saw the seminal fluid. This was the second type. Now let's move on to the third one, and that's the point where you see the dream but you don't see the seminal fluid. Okay, you don't see any kind of seminal fluid on your body. Then at this moment you don't have to bath. Okay, you are pure. You didn't excrete the seminal fluid, you are pure. Okay, so what did I say here? If you see the seminal fluid, in any cases you need to bath. The ghusl is wajib on you. Did you guys understand? So guys, remember, to get purified from the major impurity, we take bath, we do the ghusl, and to get purified from the minor impurity, we do the wudu. Now let's suppose there comes a circumstance where there is no water. Okay, there's literally no water. So what do you have to do? So in Islam, there is an easy way for you to get purified, is that there is a point where you can do tayammum and get purified. So what is this tayammum? So tayammum is a thing like wudu, but we do it without water, and it's really easy to do. Okay guys, so before I begin talking about tayammum, let me say you the ayah from which we take the topic of tayammum. Okay, same ayah that we took for the wudu, in it Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, after we progress, like the ayah starts from Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha qumtum ila salah. Okay, from here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the wudu. Okay, when we go down, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says فَلَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً فَتَيَمَّمُوا صَعِيدًا طَيِّبًا. Okay, so here is the talk about tayammum. Okay, so after you have seen the dalil, let's learn what are the conditions to do the tayammum. Okay, we can't be just doing tayammum as easy as we wish. Okay, so as I said you, the tayammum is an act of worship. It's just like wudu, but we, instead of using water, here we use turab. Okay, here we use the sand. Okay, so now let's learn first of all what are the conditions of tayammum. So guys, first one is niyyah. You need to have the intention to progress in your tayammum. Okay, second one is Islam. Like a person who is kafir, if he does tayammum, he has no benefit from it. The third one is al-aql. Okay, a person who is out of his mind, or his mind is not conscious, okay, then him doing the tayammum is not beneficial for him. Okay, what do I mean here is like the one who doesn't have any mind, he's a mental person, or he might have any brain illness or something. If he does tayammum, then he has no benefits. Then the next one is tamayyuz, and what do I mean by tamayyuz here is a boy who can understand what's happening around him. Okay, so if he does the tayammum, it's okay for him, but But a kid who doesn't understand what's going around him or surrounding him, it's not eligible for him to do the tayammum. Okay, now let's move on to the next one, and it's if the person is not able to use water for several reasons. First one is he might not get the water. You might be in a place where you don't have any kind of water, but you want to get purified, then you can do the tayammum. Okay, then second one is he might be not safe after he uses the water. The water might be dangerous for him. Okay, for example, he is an ill person, or he might have any kind of injuries on his body. If he uses water, then it's going to affect him. Okay, so he can use tayammum here. Then either the water could be so cold, or the place where he lives is so cold. Okay, so the water is really cold there, so that if he does wudu, then it's going to really harm him, so he can do tayammum here. Then the next one, guys, is a really easy one. You need to do the tayammum with a good sand. Okay, we can't be doing tayammum with a bad sand. Okay, we need to be doing tayammum with a really pure sand. And the next one is the really important one, and that's the entrance or the whole of the wall. Okay, you should wait till the prayer times arrive. Okay, we can't be doing the tayammum before an hour of a prayer, because when the time of the prayer comes, we need to do the tayammum. Before that, we can't do. Okay, so guys, now let's learn this sifa of tayammum. How do we do the tayammum? Okay, so the first thing, guys, it's like you need to do the niyyah. Okay, then we will read the bismillah, and then we'll take our hands and like hit it once on the sand, and then we'll take it off and then blow it, like remove the dust from our hand, and then we'll rub it or wipe on our face once, just once, wipe. Okay, we won't rub it, just wipe on our face once, and then on our right palm on the upper side. Okay, not on the down side, on the upper side of our palms we'll wipe once, and on the right hand basically, and then we'll go to the left. Okay, and that's the tayammum. That's finished. Okay, so guys, this was the way you could do the tayammum. So there are some arkans here that you need to keep in mind. The first one is you need to do the niyyah. Without niyyah, you can't have, or you can't do the tayammum. Okay, guys, after you have done the niyyah, you need to wipe your face. Okay, first face, then we'll go to the hands. Okay, after you have wiped your hands, then you need to do this in tertib. Okay, we can't be wiping our hand first and then wiping our face first. It's better to have tertib. Okay, guys, here. And then now let's move on to the important topic, and where it is, how does this tayammum gets broken. Like, there are some things that breaks the wudu, and here are some things that break the tayammum. Okay, first thing is like anything that breaks the wudu breaks the tayammum. Okay, whatever we have studied before that breaks the wudu breaks the tayammum too. Okay, and anything that makes ghusl wajib on you, it's also going to break the tayammum that you did. Okay, now the first reason where we are going to discuss about the things that usually break the tayammum is when the water arrives. Okay, the main reason we are doing the tayammum is that we don't have water, right? So if the water arrives, that is the moment where your tayammum breaks. Okay, and the second one is if the reason for which you were doing tayammum is finished, then you need to do the wudu. It will break the tayammum. Why? Because suppose you had an injury, you were not doing wudu, you were doing tayammum, then when the injury has finished, when you have recovered from it, then you need to do the wudu. You can't be doing tayammum. Okay, and the last one is when the time finishes. Okay, when the prayer time finishes, then this tayammum is going to break. Okay, why? Because when the next time comes, you are going to do the tayammum again. You can't just do tayammum once in Fajr Salah and you can't pray the Dhuhr with it. Okay, so as soon as the prayer time finishes, your tayammum breaks too. Okay, guys, so that was the tayammum.